Last week, I talked about the sense of life with a friend, and his idea was that children are the sense of life. Another day, I talked about with a friend, and she also said, in her opinion, children are the sense of life. Is that really true? Or what is actually the sense of life? Let's explore this in this video. The whole story of the second person was that she actually said children were the sense of her life, but now the children are out of the house. She's alone, and then suddenly her voice became very sad. So what you can interpret from this situation is that this person was actually depressed because now her sense is gone away. And here is also to observe actually already the first problem, and that is when someone says children or any material thing or any other person or anything you can see or you can grab, then it is only limited to the personal sense. But there's a big difference between the personal sense and the bigger sense. Most people only talk about their personal sense, but the bigger sense is, for example, if you are religious, it's about God and the whole world, or for others who are more on the social level, who are not so religious, I say it's about the society and politics or so. There is a bigger sense also, and all researchers are working on what is the objective truth, what is this whole thing, this bigger sense. And that's why also whole research once started in philosophy, because they wanted to figure out about the truth and if there is something bigger and what is about that whole thing, are we all connected or not. But besides research, what can we do now? Because as you know, a personal sense is limited. And what about the bigger sense? First of all, I could say meditate, but that would be too easy, no? Everyone says meditation is so important. But in the same way, I could also say take drugs, because when you take meditation and its effects, it has similarities with drugs. Meditation can calm people, meditation can lead to sleep, and some drugs also can do and have the same effect. So it's just a natural drug, you can say, until a certain point. Because when you truly meditate with higher purposes for connecting with your higher self or even with God, then meditation has a higher purpose than only the drugs have. As well as when you consider the whole sense also, there's a higher purpose instead of just your limited purpose as a person. So what then else besides meditation? Buddha said that besides meditation, also knowledge is important. And that's why, for example, channels like this exist, because you need some knowledge. When you compare someone who reaches the ego death via meditation, who reaches the no-mind status or the enlightenment, this person just reaches it because there is a basis, a fundament, a knowledge basis first, why the person wants to reach it. And when he or she comes to the point when you reach the no mind, then you will be not scared from it. But compared to the drug people, when they reach the ego death, and there are drugs which can switch off the mind so much that they even can end up in the ego death for a certain time, but they are scared. They can't bear it. And they are confused. And when they come back, they have bad withdrawal symptoms because they don't understand the ego death. And that's the big problem. And that's the very big difference between just taking drugs or to meditate. Always meditation is the better choice, of course. But this is not a video about drugs. This was just an example. I'm not here to tell ethical things like live only good, don't take drugs. This is not what this channel is about. This was just a comparison as an interesting example. So Buddha said not only meditation, but also knowledge is good, because meditation could also be limited and used as a drug, only to calm. Even when it comes to the ego death, then people are confused and try to go back to their ego because the knowledge base is missing. So knowledge is important. But here, Buddhism actually is limited, because Buddhism is only limited to the self-realization, to the connection to your higher self, and also to the connectedness with others and with the whole world. When you have been in that meditation status already, then you know there is a kind of a connectedness that we actually feel in that meditation when you are very deep, that we are connected with everything. But Buddhism is missing the God aspect. Buddhism leaves out that there is something like God, like a higher being. And that's the difference to other religions. And some people even say Buddhism is only a philosophy, it's not even a religion, because there is this God aspect missing. That's why Buddhism is limited here. Because for the whole thing, we have to focus also the other religions, which include God. But the other religions are limited insofar that they only focus God, and sometimes even they are feeling so good just thinking about God, and they are so in love with God, and everything is about God, and nobody understands these religious people. And that's why I also didn't like religious people for so many years, because they are always too much about God. And there is a middle way between these religions and the Buddhism, and this is to see both aspects, the self-realization and the unity with God. But first, before it comes to God and to what all the others religion talk about and strive for, you have to have the unity with your higher self, because you can't never truly reach God with your ego. Ego can only think about God, and it's limited to thinking. It's also limited to the senses, but because God is spirit and don't graspable through senses, so there is only the connection through thinking for the ego, and that's all. But the true unity with God, the contemplatio in Latin words, takes place always in the higher self. So first we have to widen our consciousness to reach the higher self, or also called higher consciousness. And when we are there, the unity with God can take place, the contemplatio, the enlightenment. But first we have to go through the self-realization. And so you can see actually the religions build up on each other. First, Buddhism is important for the self-realization and to understand all the background knowledge about that. And when you are at this point, then also the God aspect from the other religions can follow. But most people don't even reach the very first point. And so the limited Buddhism actually could be enough for most people, because first you have to reach the higher self. From there, it is easy to reach God then, because when you are already in the higher self, in that connectedness, then also the last step can be done. But first you have to strive for the self-realization, for the higher self, for the individuation, also said with Carl Jung, the famous psychoanalyst. So what is the whole sense now about? The whole sense is, first of all, to find your higher self, to overcome that ego. And the second thing also, for the religious people, you can say it is the unity with God. And then, after then, a personal sense will appear. Most people only count their personal sense from their ego because they think children are good. That person who said it to me, he was a very good father and he loved his children. So that's why he say the sense or the purpose of life is getting children, because he felt so much love for them. And so actually it is the love what is behind, which is actually the true thing, what is the sense. And if you take it on a higher level, and St. John said God is love, so you can say the love is actually the higher sense. But he just sees in this world his children, and that's why he believes the material thing, the people, the children are the purpose of his life. But he made it a whole and was thinking that it counts for all people, but actually it was just his personal sense. But the whole thing behind is the love for the children. And so the love, in that case, you can take out the love as an abstract thing and you can lift it up to the higher sense, and then it comes to God again. So always it comes to God or to divine things. But first of all, never forget your first purpose is to figure out and to get to know your true self, your higher self. You have to go in the higher consciousness, and there the God unity can take place. So first of all, the bigger purpose is the self-realization. And for this, you have to meditate. And when you understand this and go through the meditation deeper and deeper, then it will appear easy. And whatever comes, you know your goal, and there will not appear suddenly anxieties which are coming whenever your development of consciousness is so far that you go in the no mind, that there is this actually positive kind of emptiness. But people who are not prepared, who don't have this background knowledge, they feel this emptiness as a negative thing. There's also a video about this emptiness on this channel. Otherwise, if you limit your life only to a personal sense, like, for example, there's people who said that the purpose of life is getting children, then you limit your life just to a life of a dog or of a animal, because they are making babies, so many babies throughout all their life, because they have no other purpose. They can't think and they can't feel in ways people can feel, and so they can't really make decisions. They are only acting through their natural senses, but they don't consider. But you have other abilities. What's the difference between a dog and you? First of all, you can think, and that's why we are talking about getting knowledge, that you understand and get a deeper understanding. And the next thing is you have a consciousness which is not only for thinking, but also for higher reason. So it is able to meditate and to contemplate and to learn things from channels like this. You contemplate that you not get in anxieties when the no mind happens or this emptiness happens. So you will be prepared for the enlightenment, and then you can go through it. More videos about preparation you can also find on this channel. Have a nice week. See you soon. Bye.